Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's My Opinion Bob, and it's February 28th, 2025. And today's shirt seems appropriate for what I'm going to talk about. Before I get into it, though, I did want to mention, I wanted to mention in my comments, I try and respond to everyone. I try. If I've missed you, I'm sorry, but I try and respond to every comment I get. I was looking at a couple other guys doing YouTube videos, and they were saying how, oh, if there's a bad comment or somebody doesn't agree, I just delete it. We just move on. We move on to the next thing. And I don't do that. I keep every comment everybody's made, it's right on there for you to read, because some are going to agree with me and some aren't. And that's what we're all here for, is to exchange ideas and exchange views. I'm learning. Maybe I'm teaching you something. Who knows? I don't know. You know I don't edit my videos, so mistakes and all is what you're seeing. There's no pausing and cutting, and all the mispronunciations, everything is there, and there's plenty of them. If I make an error describing something, I try and put it in the description, in the little thing that says more or something on the bottom. If I don't, and you find one, please let me know and I'll fix it and remedy it. I never ask anybody to subscribe or to like my videos. That's up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not trying to build a channel. I like to think of this as a one-on-one thing. So I guess what I wanted to say today, I'm not really going to demonstrate a guitar. What I wanted to say was I do get some comments. I don't want to say the same old, same old. I want to say a repeating comment where, Bob, wouldn't you just rather have a Martin D28? Wouldn't you rather have a Gibson J45 or a J50 or whatever particular guitar somebody's asking me about? I can't say that I would, but I can't say that I might play one someday and say, oh, I got to have this. But who knows, you know? Everybody buys what they want to buy and get what they want to get. And to tell you the truth, I think Martin, Gibson, Fender, they have taught the world. They have taught the world how to make a good guitar. And people are catching up. So why are they charging so outrageous prices for some of their stuff? Is it the corporate end of it? Are they just riding a train that is for as far as they can ride it? Because I think that train's coming to a screaming halt pretty soon from what I see. But maybe you feel differently. And, you know, heirlooms, investments, things like that, if you invest in any collectibles and you think you've got a gold mine, I wish you all the luck in the world. Through my experience, that's not always the case. So I'd rather have my money in the bank. So the thing that I'm upset about today and why I'm doing this video is I've got a couple other videos. If you follow my stuff at all, I've talked about scams and how not to get scammed with a fake guitar or something that is not real, what to look for. Just easy things you can look for right online. You don't have to hold it in your hand. You can just see it in a picture. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it opened your eyes to some things. But I saw something, and the case I was making earlier was a hummingbird. Somebody had a fake hummingbird, and I saw it right away when I saw the picture. I knew it was a fake, and I explained it to him. Guy never responded to me, and I don't know, but the other comment that's coming up to me is people are upset that the Chinese are making these copies, and it's awful because they're cheating people and making these copies and saying Martin or Gibson or Fender or Hookiki Dicky or whatever it says on the headstock. It's not the Chinese. It's some of these Americans that are scamming people on eBay and all these other online sites trying to sell a fake as an original. That's who's doing, that's the bad part. That's the stinky part of this business. I know people are upset because the Chinese have made guitars and put other brand names on it, and they just think that's outrageous. Most of you, I assume, are guitar players that are watching this. If you ask most luthiers how many Stradivariuses they've worked on in their lifetime. And a guitar player might think, well, maybe they've never even worked on one. Some people might think, oh, they might have worked on two. Ask a luthier. They'll tell you they've worked on hundreds of them. hundreds. Because you know why? Stradivarius violins have been copied since I don't know when. I mean, I'm talking about the 1920s and 1930s, 40s. You know how many violins are out there with the paper inside a Stradivarius, and somebody will find this thing and look at it and say, oh my gosh, we got a gold mine. You got a fly swatter in most cases, because that's about as good as it's all they're really worth. That thing's been copied for ages. You're upset because these guitars from China have the name on it. Okay, be upset about it. But are they selling this guitar to you like if it's $1,000, if the real Martin is $1,000, are they selling this Chinese guitar to you for $950? No, they're selling it to you for peanuts. They're selling it to you for $200-300. It's just a copy. It just looks like it. It's not the real guitar. All right, but the harm is this. Forget the Chinese. Talk about the Americans. Those names, the C.F. Martin, the Gibson, the Fender, all those names, they're available online. Anybody can buy them. I've bought them. You can buy those names online. It's just a decal. People are buying them, and what they're doing is they're taking guitars, say Sigma, for instance. They're taking that Sigma off the headstock, and they're putting the C.F. Martin label on there. Most people can spot this, and that's a mistake I have made. I have assumed I was giving you tips for like a beginner, a novice that might be able to spot these. I didn't realize there's even a lot of seasoned musicians that can't tell the difference between some of these fakes. And I'm going to make a point with this one right here, because this is the one that outraged me yesterday. I was on eBay, and I always search for different things. I have triggers on there, and one of them is a D100, the Martin D100. So it came up on eBay the other day, a Martin D100. Now anybody that knows about the D100, they sell between $100,000 and $110,000. It was a very limited edition. The D100 signifies the 1 millionth guitar that Martin made. That's what they made. They made the D100 to celebrate the 1 millionth guitar. Then they made a D200, the D2.5, the D300 now. That the D300 is the latest one. But anyways, this D100 came up, and they wanted $7,000 for it. It was a buy it now. I said, $7,000 for a D100? Wow, there's a steal. And as soon as I looked at the first picture, I says, this is a fake. This is a fake, and it's not even a good fake. I mean, this stuck out like a sore thumb. And then after I showed it to a few friends of mine, not all of them, some of my friends said, how could you tell it was a fake? It looks, I think that's, and then I realized maybe it is difficult. Maybe everybody doesn't know. So man, what's happening? What is happening here? Is just greed taking over? I mean, if you're looking at a $100,000 guitar and you're in the market for it, and somebody offers you it for $500 or $1,000, you're going to know something's wrong. But when somebody's asking, $7,000-10,000, something like that, well, it could be they're in a bind and they got to dump it or whatever. But this thing was a phony baloney. So I messaged the guy and I told him, I says, I don't know if you realize it, but this is a copy you've got. This is not a real D100. And I showed him what the thing was, the problems, and within 5 minutes he had pulled the listing down, said it was no longer available. Never wrote back to me. I just saw the listing pulled down. So I says, all right. So I went back and I looked at the other stuff he had. And this guy had some pretty good guitars. He had some nice guitars, and he had fair prices on it. But then I saw, I think it was a Taylor, Prestige. I think that's what it was. I'm not that familiar with all the Taylors, but this was a higher end Taylor. And it showed he sold it for $11. So there's something wrong with this seller or this guy or something. And I think the problem is just greed. There's something wrong. But I think I was going to also give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he got stung, like I mentioned in the other video. Maybe he bought it wrong and he's trying to get his money back. But I don't know. I hate to judge anybody, but it just made me mad because because I think this is happening. This is probably happening a lot more than what I see it. This is probably going on in pawn shops, even music stores. Somebody might trade them in. I mean, I've been to music stores. I've had to have a copy worked on, and I needed something done. And I went in and I showed him, and he goes, "Oh boy, this is a great. Oh wow, these are great." I said, "Well, this is a copy." You're kidding. I mean, he didn't know. Granted, he looked at it quick. He didn't know, and I showed him how you do it. But that's when I realized I guess not everybody knows how to do this. But the thing is this. Like I said, they've caught up. The Chinese have caught up, just like Japan did years ago. Yari guitars. I mean, look at Yari was building excellent guitars for years and years and years. They're just good craftsmen, and the Japanese have always been very good craftsmen, and they love taking a product, and that's kind of how capitalism works too. You get a product, and let's say it sells for $100. Somebody else comes along and says, "I can build that same product, and I can sell that product for $80. Somebody else comes along and says, "I can build that product, and I can even build it better, and I'm going to sell it for $60." And that's just how it works, I know it's pretty basic, but it really is. And getting down to the fact that the name is on the headstock, well, that's how it comes when you buy it, all right? If you don't like it and you think it's wrong, take it off. Put some black tape on there. Do anything you want. That's up to you. But that's how it comes. And that's what I'm saying. These decals and labels, they're all over the place. People are putting them on everything. I've told you I have people with Fender guitars that are putting the Gibson name on it. People that have Gibson guitars putting the Fender name on it. It's the official logo, but they're just doing it for the comic value of it. But here's the problem, though. This is what I'm talking about, quality. Now, let's take a Martin guitar. Let's take a Martin guitar made in Mexico. A Martin Dreadnought made in Mexico is going to cost you around, let's say, about $600, and then you got to figure your tax and everything else, depending on where you are. But let's talk $600. It's going to be the back and sides on a Martin in Mexico is HPL, and it says HPL Rosewood. Most people see the rosewood and figure, okay, that's good. They don't really know what the HPL is. HPL is high pressure laminate. It's pulverized wood, sawdust, high pressure, and it turns into it's laminate. It's a laminate. It's Formica. It's a laminate piece of wood. It's a pretend with a rosewood, and there's rosewood in there. It might be rosewood sawdust for all I know. But that's what it is, and that's how they can make it affordable. That's how you can get that Martin for $600. It'll be a solid top, whether it's mahogany or spruce or whatever. But that's how they do it. And they cut. They'll have a hardwood. It'll say a hardwood neck. It doesn't tell you if it's mahogany, maple, or it's just a hardwood. So obviously, there's a lot of corners cut. So the bottom line is, you can get this made in Mexico Martin for $600. All right. Like I said, a real one would be $100,000, $110,000. All right, you can buy this guitar, which is a copy. All right, this is an all solid wood. This is an all solid spruce top, all solid Indian rosewood back and sides. It's got the open tuners. It's the volute binding all around, inlay, of course, up the wazoo. Just incredible inlay. It's on the pick guard, and of course the back inlay that took weeks, months to do with a CNC machine. I've explained that in my other videos too. I was a CNC operator, how that works. Unbelievable, the speed and the time saved. All solid wood, and somebody wants to buy this, and if you can get this, I mean, this was $6. It's the same price as one in Mexico. Do you just say, no, I won't want that. I want that one in Mexico. Well, Bob wanted this one because what am I going to do? Also, and it's got a nice tone to it. Just, yeah, it's an all solid wood guitar. It's not a Martin D100. sound like it. I don't know what it sounds like because I'm not going to be playing a real D100. Although the reviews I read on the D100 of Martin, the reviews I read said it was the worst sounding Martin guitar that was ever built. And I don't know if it was because all this inlay on it or what, but the reviewers weren't thrilled with it. Now, maybe there's some people that love it. I'll tell you, if I paid $100,000, I'd be singing its praises and loving it regardless how it sounded, but not everyone did. Is it sound like a Martin D100? Probably not. But it sounds like an all solid wood guitar, I'll tell you that. And I've got enough of them to know how they sound. So I just don't know what to do. Why? I don't know how to avoid that, not getting scammed. I mean, the other thing is this is a limited edition. There was only 50 of these made. I think there's only one missing. They don't know where one is, and it's certainly not here. But there's one missing, but every other one is accounted for. So when somebody sells something like this, you've got to ask them, well, what number is that? You know, and if they say, oh, well, we lost a label, and a label came out, we don't know. Well, there's a sign there. There's a lot of signs. And the reason I knew that this was a fake immediately was the old man Martin right here. He wasn't on there. The detail is completely different, especially in the guitar. That's the first thing you look at is the guitar on top. The detail will be completely different. The Martin is, all the detail is there. It's incredible. The Rosetta is the other thing. This is the correct Rosetta. There's a lot of these copies around that don't have it. So I guess it comes down, I guess it's just things I know. And I just thought everybody could spot this stuff, and I guess it's harder and harder to spot it. So my advice to everyone is be careful. There are people that always want to scam you out there. And some people don't mean to. Some people got stung with something that they didn't realize they were getting scammed. So I guess just be careful. And again, I enjoy all the comments everybody makes, and I hope you continue to. Please, because I love that two-way conversation and exchange. And we might not always agree on things, but I enjoy the conversation. So that's it for today. That's all I want to say. It's just I just feel bad when people are listing this junk that's not junk, but they've made it junk now because something that you could have picked up, if you like that kind of a copy, you could have picked it up for a couple $100. And these people with that Firebird, he's charging $2,500 for it. Yeeks. Till the next time.